allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Moved Gearbox, second Morrow. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and we don't have any absences tonight. This is in comments on agenda items. Under the Open Meetings Act, any citizen may come forward at this time and make comment or question on items that appear on this agenda. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone who would like to speak is requested but not required to state his or her name and address for the record. Is there anybody that would like to speak to anything on the agenda? Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. The following consent agenda will normally be adopted without discussion. However, at the request of any citizen or council member, any item may be removed from the consent agenda for council discussion.
Move to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
Move Morrow, second Terhard, to approve and adopt the consent agenda as submitted. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And under new business, item 1250, this is the 2012 Memorial Day Parade. So it'd be a motion to acknowledge receive the application for community event use of public ways submitted by George Perot on behalf of the Saline American Legion for the annual Memorial Day Parade. To acknowledge receive the March 9, 2012 memo from Interim Police Chief Lindman and the March 26, 2012 memo from Public Works Director Fordyce to authorize or not authorize the Memorial Day Parade to be held on Michigan Avenue on Monday, May 28, 2012, beginning at 10 a.m. subject to the following. 1, that the required parade permit for the closing of Michigan Avenue be obtained from MDOT. 2, that the traffic engineer issue the necessary temporary traffic control orders for the appropriate street closings and detours. 3, that a certificate of insurance be provided naming the city of Saline as an endorsed additional insured party for this event and subject to the approval of the city attorney. And further, that the city fees for services over and above the normal operating costs, which are estimated at $577.62 for police and $1,258 for DPW, be waived.
Move to authorize.
Move Rhodes, second Mr. Gearbox.
Yep.
To authorize, discussion? There's no discussion on this motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 52, the purchase of replacement membranes for reverse osmosis unit number 2. So it would be a motion to acknowledge receipt of the March 27, 2012 memo from Water Production and Pollution Control Superintendent Skull to approve or not approve the purchase of 180 FilmTech NF90-400 membranes from Process Solutions in the amount of $86,800 with monies budgeted in the water treatment budget.
Move to approve.
I second.
Move Rhodes, second Roth. Discussion?
Real quick,
Mr. Peters.
just to thank Mr. Bosco for getting good mileage out of that first set of filters. That was pretty good service. And thanks for getting the best replacement filters you can get. That's our drinking water, so important.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion? Do you have anything you want to say?
No, we've had the membranes for 7 years. When they were installed, we were told that they'd be a 3 to 5 year lifespan. We managed to make it 7. Hopefully, with this next batch, after the learning curve we had, we may be able to, I shouldn't say this, but make it stretch even longer.
Well, we really appreciate your efforts, so thanks. Mr. Roth?
Did you replace the filters in unit 1?
No, actually, the filter, unit number 1 is down for repairs. We hope to have it back online next week. The membranes on unit number 1 were performing pretty good, and I wasn't expecting to have to replace them this year. That's why I didn't come for both units, just the single one.
Okay.
Mr. Rose?
I'd just like to say, as a citizen, that I think our water continues to improve. I think the distribution system is getting cleaned up. I used to have to change the filters in my humidifier at home at least twice a winter, and this year I went through the entire winter on the same filter. So it must be getting better.
Well, it was a warm winter, too.
Well, yeah, but it still is.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Skull? Nope. Thank you for your work. We have a motion to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 1242, proclamations for Earth Day and Arbor Day. This will be a motion to acknowledge receipt of March 24th, 2012 memo from Parks and Recreation Director Scruggs to approve and adopt or not adopt the proclamations designating April 28th, 2012 as Arbor Day and April 22nd, 2012 is Earth Day in the city of Saline, and to urge all our citizens to celebrate these days and to support efforts to protect our natural resources and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve and adopt.
Second.
Excuse me, I have something in my throat. We have a motion by Rhodes, a second by Mr. Har to approve and adopt. And Ms. Scruggs, I think you have some activities maybe you want to talk about?
Yes, we do. I'll let Bob talk about Earth Day first.
Well, actually, the Environmental Commission has a series of events for Earth Week. The first one is the 18th. The Clean Energy Coalition is going to be sponsoring a class at the library at 7 o'clock, Greening Your Home.
On what, doing your home?
Greening Your Home, it's energy, environmentally friendly things to improve your energy efficiency at your house.
Grading?
And on the 21st, greening, I'm sorry. And on the 21st, the Environmental Commission will be handing out little seedlings at the farmer's market from 8 to noon. We will have white pine and some kind of dogwood, and it's escaping which one right at this moment. And on the 28th, we'll be having our third e-waste collection at the youth center, and that will be from 9 to 4. The first two went over really big. We got tons of stuff, and there's always a need. It seems to be generated really quick. But that's the 3 events we have planned for the upcoming week.
Are they going to be on the website?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Great.
Thank you, Bob. My turn. The Park Commission is planning an Arbor Day celebration like we do every year, but this year we're combining it with the rededication of the Boley Bridge at Mill Pond Park. So Arbor Day and the rededication will both be held at Mill Pond. And it's going to be April 28th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you will be receiving your invitations to attend. We'd love for you to be there to show support and kind of support Arbor Day and the bridge rededication. We have involved the Celtic Festival. I believe Councilman Roth is not able to attend the celebration, I believe, but we're trying to get another speaker.
The
Councilman
Brecken
Speaker.
Friendship Guild will be there on hand.
I think
Okay.
Former mayor and
Mayor
current
Don
judge
Sheldon.
Don Shelton will
Don
be there.
Shelton, okay.
And hopefully he'll have 2 members, 2 ladies come in traditional costumes.
Excellent.
From Wales.
So we want to bring in the Celtic theme and honor Mayor Boley from Brecken for the rededication. And we also are trying to make this more of a kind of a family-friendly event. We realize that it's a soccer day in the morning, so we're trying to schedule this later in the afternoon. At 2 o'clock, we plan on having popsicles and some type of refreshment, nothing fancy, but cookies and water and juice and whatnot. We're also trying to get some face painters, maybe some balloon animal things, just trying to make it a little more festive for families to be there. We'll obviously be planting a tree in honor of Arbor Day, and it will be a dawn redwood, I believe. And we're going to be advertising. We're working on a flyer right now. It'll be on the website very soon. It'll be on our Facebook and be Saline and everywhere we can market this, so.
If there's any seedlings left over, can we hand them out there too?
Sure.
The schedule for the seedlings was to give them out at Farmers Market on the 21st, and then any that were left, we were going to give to people who came to the e-waste event on the 28th.
Okay,
But maybe we can coordinate something there to split them up.
because if they're coming for Arbor Day, that would probably be
Right.
good.
Yeah, we didn't quite get coordinated early enough
That's
between
okay.
the 2 commissions this year, but next year we'll do better.
Okay. Also, I forwarded to you a little while ago, Judge Shelton, excuse me, has a plaque that he'd like to have also presented. So I just checked with Todd. I think it looks okay. If you could let me know, he wants to order it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure you were here when I just sent it, so thanks. Great. Any questions for Carla? Good job, thanks. No bouncy thingy?
Sorry?
You're gonna have the bouncy thingy?
We're not going to have the bouncy thingy.
Okay. But lots of other things for kids, okay. Great. Any questions for anybody? Any of the staff? Any comments about the motion? I would urge everybody to come out and celebrate Arbor Day and Earth Day because those, it's very important to our community and our earth to support clean living, green living, and clean living. And it's great to get the kids involved because they're the ones that are going to be taking care of us, so you need to be aware of that. So we have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under discussion, do we have any commissioner committee reports? Mr. Morrow.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Saline's Planning Commission met last Wednesday evening, and we had a pretty full agenda. The two things that I want to report out are, first and foremost, the form-based code for the downtown area was approved, so that will be coming to council, I'm assuming, either later this month or the first part of May. And then the second issue was the gas station on the western edge of town received final site plan approval. So that building will be renovated and remodeled, and the gas pumps will be put on the western edge of the property instead of in the front facing the north, excuse me. And I should add that it no longer includes a Burger King franchise. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and the mayor can help me out on this, because of course she's also a member of the Planning Commission, I believe it also requires them to go to the ZBA for a few variances. Okay, so that's my update for the Planning Commission. And again, you'll be seeing the form-based code issue come before us in the imminent future. Thank you.
Any other commissioner committee reports? Mr. Peters.
Just with your water bill this month, you'll get a nice flyer. Saline, City of Saline FYI has a nice article on the front page about the upcoming 17th Celtic Festival. A lot of good information there. So it's a nice article. I'd like to learn more about the Celtic Festival.
I don't recommend running a 5K in a kilt unless you want to get really overheated.
Too tough.
So I don't know if I'll do that again.
It's harder than you would think.
It was really hot.
Yeah.
It killed me for later, but anyhow. It was a lot of fun. The 5K is a lot of fun, and it goes to a good cause. It's actually split. Are they doing the 5K again?
Mott's Hospital, yes.
Yeah, split. It's split with Mott's Hospital, so it's a really good cause. It's a fun way to start the day. And then go down to the park and
Yep.
celebrate all things Celtic. Any other commissioner committee reports? If not, do we have any other reports or announcements? Mr. Hart.
I attended the Washtenaw Area Transit Study meeting on March 21st. A couple of items of interest from that. The Partners for Transit newsletter, March edition of their newsletter has come out. I have one paper copy. It's also available on their website. It has good public transit information, what's happening now, new current developments, including a note about a new public transit service that was to have started today, which is public transit from Ann Arbor to the airport, co-sponsored by Ann Arbor Transit Authority and
Indian Fire. Right?
no,
This contract.
a commercial bus service. Now I'm blanking on the name, sorry. The fares range in price from $6 for senior fares up to $15 for walk-on with no reservation. But for the first, I looked at the website today, until the 1st of July, they're having a special introductory rate of $10 for one way. And there are two locations that they're leaving from in Ann Arbor, the Blake Transit Center and also the Kensington Hotel, just at State Street and I-94. And there are parking options, paid parking options at those sites as well. So there's more information about
Where's the
that.
pickup? Do you know where the pickup location is, at the terminal?
They're dropping off and picking up at both terminals. I didn't go, I don't think it's in the newsletter, and
Okay.
I didn't go that deep in looking at it, the website. So there's a website, the service is called Air Ride. So if you go, and that's what the website name is, airride.org. So there's more information there. There's also a draft complete streets plan for Washtenaw County that they've just completed, and that's now available on the Watts website. Thank you.
Any other reports or announcements? Mr. Rhodes.
I was given some information and asked to present it to council this evening about the Let's Save Michigan contest. And I'll just read these comments. The design team of Saline Main Street would like to take advantage of a grant contest sponsored by Let's Save Michigan, a campaign sponsored by the Michigan Municipal League to encourage Michiganders to take ownership and get involved in making their communities better places. The purpose of the grant contest is to find an underutilized space in the community, and by collaborating with a group of neighbors, friends, business owners, or other community members, create a plan and design for turning that underutilized space into a community place. The design team would like to propose improving the alleyway that runs between Brecken Grill and the old Little Caesars building, including the area behind Mangiamo's and Benny's Bakery. Our vision is to make this walkway an inviting, attractive, and welcoming thoroughfare. We'd like the City Council's permission to develop a plan, as well as your input and support for applying for the grant. We plan to collaborate with all of the stakeholders who would benefit from the improvements. Let's Save Michigan will award $2,000 to the grand prize winner and will grant multiple awards ranging from $500 to $2,000 to partially or fully fund the projects of runners-up. Saline Main Street has submitted a letter of intent to submit an application. Full applications are due May 4th, 2012. And since I'm a member of the design team of Saline Main Street, that's why I was asked to present that information tonight.
That's great. Are there any other reports or announcements? If not, we'll move on to the personal property tax report. Mr. Campbell is going to report what Lieutenant Governor Kelly talked about.
I will. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And actually, Cranes did a better job of my note-taking than I did, so I just took it from their articles. So, but as you recall, a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago, there were 4 of us that went to the Michigan Municipal League Capital Conference in Lansing, and the council meeting prior to that, the mayor asked that I give a report out because the Lieutenant Governor was scheduled, as he did, give a presentation and as far as what Governor Snyder's administration is proposing and that type of thing. So what they said, essentially, there's three parts to the personal property tax: industrial, utilities, and the commercial. The utilities, they're going to leave alone, and it also equates to about $1.4 billion worth of taxes all together, all those 3 parts. Utilities, they're going to leave that alone, but the industrial they're going to go after first, as well as small commercial, which would be small commercial companies that have $40,000 or less total worth of personal property. So that's about $425 million, according to the state, that would be gone. But they want to do a phased approach. The other thing is, we've been talking about replace, don't erase, and we want, the MML's been saying we want a constitutional guarantee, and they've stated it very clearly. They're not interested in a guarantee, and of course they also, Lieutenant Governor Kelly also stated that, well, of course, personal property tax isn't constitutionally guaranteed currently. So why would they want to try and guarantee something constitutionally when the current tool or revenue generator is not? It's on a fast track, what I would call, that's my words, no, not theirs, but Senator Brandenburg out of Harrison Township, he's been also one of the original folks that have been pushing this for the last year or better. He'd like to hold initial hearings April 18th to start moving this forward. He wants to have this bill on the governor's desk before they adjourn for the summer recess. That's moving forward. Depends who you talk to. If you talk to them, I mean, it was pretty clear. The administration, they feel it's going to get done. But again, at the end, when they had the media and Tim Skubic and they talked to the media up there, they didn't they thought possibly it might get done, but certainly they weren't as optimistic. So, but again, they're just the media, but they do usually have a pretty good handle on what people are saying, or feeling. But it's, again, it's still, 22% of ours, of our budget, let me just, the last part that I wanted to cover, on the, apologize, I thought I had it all mapped out. Because they're going to, the way they're going to do it is going to potentially start January 1st, 2013, especially for the small commercial. So that would go away for the 40,000 or less. And they also have in here about the, and Lee, I know you can help me out a little bit too.
January 1, 2016
Right.
is when the industrial personal property would go in, and as of that date, no new personal property will be accepted on industrial. And then going backwards 10 years, within 6 years, they'll phase it to 0. And in the first year, they're intending to put up enough money for 81 to 90%, but not in the 6th year. They intend it to diminish.
So this is sort of like just slided by. I mean, basically, this is a giant tax shift.
Oh, absolutely, right. And this,
So to individuals, actually, because,
Right.
I mean, we can't cut 20% of our budget.
right, this is essentially
So the
says-
way they're going to do this is you can't really feel it. It's just going to be sort of like Proposal A, right?
Yeah. Kind of like, what is that, how you...
What?
I was
Yeah.
just going to say the boiled frog, that's exactly what I was going to say, the boiled... But basically, the way they report it here is the administration's plan would repeal the personal property tax on industrial equipment purchased from January 1 of this year through 2015. Just as Lee said, on January 2016, any equipment purchased thereafter would also be free of tax. And then also beginning in 2016, industrial equipment older than 10 years would start coming off the tax rolls until all of it was tax-free by 2021. So that's, in a nutshell, that's...
So I would highly recommend anybody that doesn't want to see a huge cut in services or huge cut in revenue, because that will be, I said this before, we have over 300 acres of business park that we built for businesses, and we expected to be able to pay for that infrastructure with this personal property tax revenue. And there's no way. So it's going to end up having the citizens are going to have to pay for it. And that's not right.
They did say something about pre-existing bonds.
Right.
They're going to protect us on that? Try to?
Right, what they also said, they've invited communities to come to the table to help them develop the distribution, who gets what.
When's that opportunity, now or when?
Well, sometime, so they haven't really spelled that out clearly, but I know, my understanding is the city of Grand Rapids has issued, I don't know what they are, what their alternatives are, but they have issued a couple alternatives to how they might do this.
Generate the revenue?
They have just issued, I just have been told they have issued or offered alternatives how to collect this and distribute it. But they did, one of the questions to Lieutenant Governor Calley was just that, of the bonds that Lee just spoke of, and he said that was their number one priority was that at the minimum, that the bonds would be covered for communities, so.
Do we have a number on that? How much that is for us?
It's more than half. It's at least around half, if not more, of our
The
tax
20.
capture.
Okay, so it's like 15% maybe of that?
It's
20.
maybe 65% of our tax capture or something like that.
Well, of that 22% that we would,
Oh.
so it'd be like 16%, something like that?
Yeah, 16% of our tax revenue. But by the way, that's not 22% of our budget. That's 22% of our tax revenue.
Right.
And so our tax revenues are about 60% of our total, so
Still a piece.
Okay.
it's pretty much.
Well, I would urge everybody that is concerned about this to reach out to our state representatives in Lansing and tell them how debilitating this would be to this community.
Yeah, I have a call in this, I will pass along, I put a call in MML too to see if there's status change.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Campbell? Okay, public comment on the Open Meetings Act. Any citizen may come forward at this time and comment or question the city council. This public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anyone who would like to speak is requested but not required to state his or her name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mary Hess. And I want to talk about the emergency evacuation program. One thing about Michigan, they used to say, if you don't like the weather, stay around, it'll change. Well, I think it's been more precarious than ever, not only in Michigan, but all over. And at one time, we had the Union School for an evacuation building, and when the snow came and they closed down US 12, they brought the snowmobilers and put them there. At this point, of course, it's not advertised, but our basement, apparently in the lower level of City Hall, is an evacuation point, but we don't really have any other areas. I got to talk to Chief Heft because he had went to Dexter during the tornadoes a couple of weeks ago, Thursday, and he said he's working on some criteria because he was over there. And I had mentioned that we have many churches in the area that are in different areas, and they do have lower levels. And of course, this would have to be a plan, and nothing's going to happen overnight. But I think when you say your oath of office, it's health, safety, and welfare of the community. And this is definitely a safety issue. And being proactive rather than reactive is very important. And I think, Mayor, you're on the fire board, and I think Mr. Morrow is, and maybe there could be something that comes back from Chief Heft as far as a report, or maybe we could start as a city, getting some of these things together. How many churches, how many areas do have lower levels? What would take in labor? Whether our emergency management line item in the budget, I know the budget's not a good thing to talk about, but it could be very serious. And the mobile home park, of course, that goes back a long time to where at one time they were supposed to have a laundry section on the property. But Mr. Ferrantino only sold the mobile homes with washer and dryer. So rather than saying a shelter, it was never built. So that was kind of the city's faux pas. And the manager is aware that the patrons there can come here, but as I think one officer said, you can only hold so many people. And different areas, of course, where you live. I appreciate anything that the council could kind of look up in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council. As most of you know, my name is Larry Osterling, and I'm the director of the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce. Two quick things the Chamber has coming up. This Saturday is Easter weekend, and as we have in years in the past, we have an event called Extravaganza, primarily for kids to hit the egg root, but it's also a shopping weekend, and we're promoting it that way. I want to invite everyone who has an opportunity to see this or find out about it to call the Chamber if they want details, but kids will be signing up at Bush's a little before 10 in the morning, and then they have their bunny trails. What's unique about this event, which is provided, I might also add, with support from the city, is that it's the one event that happens all year that we actually take in the entire city, east, west, north, south. Heck, we'd even go to the mayor's house if we could. But it's a fun thing for kids, and I hope the word gets out there. those of you with families and kids, come on out and have a great time. Hopefully we have good weather. The other thing that's coming up is April 13th, which I think most of you are already aware of. That's our Saline Salutes. We're honoring, as we do every year, outstanding citizenry. I can see a number of past awardees already on City Council and some in the audience here tonight. So I think that word on that is pretty well out. We're starting to take a lot of reservations now, but we can't take too many. So it's only $20 a person, and it's a very memorable evening. It's something I think is important for any community to do, to recognize their outstanding citizens. The last thing is just a quick note. I believe this to be the last time I'll be addressing you as Executive Director of the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce. And I'm retiring as of May 1st. I may still come around and comment. Not sure what I would comment about. I'm not sure I'm going to be asked to comment. But I do want to add that it's been a great ride for me. Saline's a great city. It's a great community. As we can tell, we're challenged every year, as is the chamber. We have an outstanding chamber in our community, second largest in the county, and I think the best, because we've done a lot of great things. And some of you are responsible for that support, and most definitely the city of Saline, the people that work for Saline, the townships, they've all been supportive of me, and I've got a great membership base and a great organization to pass on, and I'm sure we're headed for bigger and better things. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your year. How many years have you been the director now of the chamber? 12 years. Wow, Larry, thank you very much for your service to the community. It's greatly appreciated. And the chamber is very much stronger with your leadership, so thanks. Are there any other public comments? Is there any other business coming before the City Council? If not, we have upcoming meetings on April 9th. We have a special meeting at 7:30. I understand Mr. Roth and Mr. Morrow will be unable to make that. Then we have April 16th, a budget meeting at 6 and a regular meeting at 7:30. April 23rd, a budget meeting at 6, and May 7th, a budget meeting at 6 and a regular meeting at 7:30. We need a motion to convene into the closed session for the purpose of discussing with legal counsel pending litigation.
Are we going to reconvene or not?
Do we need to reconvene? The city will not reconvene into regular session at the conclusion of the closed session. Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Morrow, second. Gearba. Roll call.
Councilmember Tahar?
Yes.
Councilmember Rose?
Yes.
Councilmember Gearbuck?
Yes.
Councilmember Morrow?
Yes.
Councilmember Roth?
Yes.
Councilmember Peters?
Yes.
Mayor Driscoll?
Yes. We adjourn at 8:03.